Coming up on Good Morning Wilmington, live with Ivan and Vincenza. Award-winning music director Adam Blackstone stops by to talk about his recent experience at the Super Bowl and the 2022 Oscars. Tina Betz will be on the plaza, joined by Gerald Chavis and Dave Schiff, to talk about City Fest International Jazz Day Awards Concert. And the Delaware Healthy Mother and Infant Consortium's chairwoman, Melissa Minor-Brown, and Tiffany Chalk stop by to talk about Black Maternal Health. This is an episode you do not want to miss. Monday, April 25th, right here on DETV.
Good morning, Wilmington. It's your main man, Big Ivan, talking to town, Mr. DETV, and my lovely, lovely co-host,
Vincenza. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ivan.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. A heck of a weekend, beautiful weekend. I'm alive and kicking. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. Happy Monday.
There you go.
I love the beginning of the week because it's the start of a new, fresh week. I used to not like Mondays, but then my dad always said, no, Monday is the most important day of the week because it sets the tone. So
I can agree.
Monday, I always like to say, is my new favorite day.
I hear you.
So.
You know, if you don't like Mondays, you just got the wrong job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he calls it, my dad calls it Business Monday.
Business
right?
Monday, right.
Business
And all your
Monday.
business on Monday. I hear you. So what you do this weekend?
So I attended You Dance.
Okay.
Yes, so for viewers out there that are tuning in, we had the opportunity to interview two individuals from Phi Kappa Tau. They are University of Delaware students, a part of the fraternity Phi Kappa Tau, but they are also huge supporters and organizers of You Dance. And You Dance is a benefit that they host every year, benefiting the Be Positive Foundation, which is basically finding a cure for childhood cancer.
Nice.
And raising funds. And I was able to attend the event yesterday. Wow. Amazing, amazing. I was so
made it amazing?
I was so blown away about the turnout. I think all of University of Delaware class was there.
Right.
The entire campus was there.
Right.
It was held at the Bob Carpenter Center, and I was invited, so I decided to attend because I wanted to support. You know, these gentlemen are working so hard, and they really, not just them, but their entire group, the executive committee of You Dance. I was blown away by the event, the turnout, and what they were doing. I mean, it truly was inspiring, but the activities that they had for raising awareness, I believe they raised over $1 million. Ooh. I believe that. I saw the number quickly posted this morning, and I was like, wow. Wow. I mean, to get to that number,
right.
It takes a lot of work.
Right.
You and I both know what it is to organize fundraisers and raising funds. It takes a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of dedication, but the event was a success. I wish them all wonderful wishes, congratulations, and I hope it continues to be successful. And please always think of us at DETV. We always love to be a part of supporting other events and fundraisers. So hats off to you gentlemen. And
the other great thing about it, Vincenza, it was a great organization that they were donating the money to.
Yes.
Be Positive. I mean, come on.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Let's not forget about that. You know, it's all about the nonprofits in Delaware because they all need some help.
Yes,
know?
they do.
And
yes, they do.
And especially if you got a great cause, you know. So hats off to you. Hats off.
How was your weekend? What did you do?
It was Daddy and Daughter weekend. Daddy and Maddie. I think that's it right there. My man Jonathan and Whitney in the back, like, yeah, because he's a girl dad too, right? So it was our weekend. We breakfast, it's the same thing, breakfast. But this weekend we went to the Delaware Children's Museum, right? And oh my gosh! First of all, let me say this: Delaware Children's Museum was amazing.
Okay.
Then after that, right, there's so many different things for kids to learn about banking, you know, their motor skills, putting things together. We had a great time. We leave there, and then we went down to the taco place, Taco Grande.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't get in, right, because it was jam-packed for like an hour.
Okay, well that's a good sign, right? That's a good sign.
So I said, let's walk down to the boardwalk. Like, Delaware has a freaking boardwalk, right? Wilmington has a boardwalk. So it's like, I see all these people walking by, and I said, come on, Maddie, let's go down there. And we go down there, and I'm standing there with sheer amazement of what Wilmington looks like. It has been a long time since I've been down to the boardwalk, been down that area.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you, it was everybody and their mother there. It was diversity. It was everything that you would see at like a waterfront in DC or Virginia.
Yes.
You can see that the plans of what they're doing for Wilmington is great.
Yes.
It was so many people.
See, it's so nice to hear that. It's so nice to hear that. I'm born and raised in Delaware,
Right.
so I've watched the city of Wilmington, the
Yeah.
riverfront, develop. The development has been a slow process, but a process.
Right.
You know, they say slow
Right.
and steady wins the race. So
Yeah.
slow process for success, but to see the revitalization and what's happening and the construction and,
Yeah.
and the store fronts and the businesses opening up, that's so important for the community.
Yeah, and you're talking about one side of the waterfront. When they finish the development on the other side of the waterfront, oh my God.
I can't wait for that.
It's going to be something crazy because what you have down there at the waterfront is you have hotels, you have the Chase Field House,
Yes.
which is right across the street. You have restaurants, you have the Chase facility where everyone has their events at, right? So I want to say at least, I'm going to say 60% of the people that I saw this weekend were not from Delaware. So they could have been at an event. They weren't at a Delaware Blue Coats game because
Right.
you know that season's over. But it was just amazing to see all these people just gathering downtown Wilmington.
Yes,
on the waterfront.
that's good. That means that Delaware is inviting and
Yes,
we're welcoming, and
yes.
we're very welcoming, and we're very hospitable in the state of Delaware.
And we have our own morning show.
Yes, of course,
Cheers,
of course.
to DETV.
Okay. Well, as Ivan is drinking his tea.
This is not tea.
Oh, coffee?
Nope.
Iced coffee?
Nope.
Oh, what are we drinking?
It's called a hot toddy.
I love hot toddy, really.
She looking like
It's very early for
it's
that.
a hot cold toffee.
Okay. Well, as you're sipping on the hot toddy, let's introduce our guest this morning.
It's not a hot toddy. Okay.
We have our first guest, Adam Blackstone. He's an Emmy-nominated music director and Grammy Award-winning writer.
Yeah.
Super excited
Yep.
to interview him. We also have three incredible gentlemen. We have Dave Schiff. He's the tenor saxophonist, and Gerald Chavis, the music director and a trumpeter.
I hope Gerald brought his trumpet. Gerald,
Yes.
you bring your trumpet?
He did. He got the thumbs- he got the thumbs up.
Matter of fact, Dennis, Najee, if we can we get a little sample? That's all Mr. Schiff walking with his thing, so his instrument. You ready? Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm putting everybody on the spot today.
Yes.
If you're a piccolo player, you're gonna play your piccolo today.
You can always count on Ivan for putting you on the spot. We also have the Jonathan Whitney. The Jonathan Whitney. He's the member of the planning committee for the Clifford Brown Year Round. So we're very excited to chat with all three of these gentlemen in regards to the International Jazz Day Awards concert.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
super excited about that.
Yes.
And last but not least,
The women of the
Oh,
hour.
yes.
And you know, I love these two. I absolutely love these two. They go in the category with like my obsession with Beyonce.
oh. That's
I'm
deep.
joking. I don't have no
I
obsession
was
with
gonna
Beyonce.
say
They're like, where'd that come from? She didn't even see that one
I'm
coming.
always learning something new about Ivan on television, though. All right. Well, anyway, our last but not least, State Representative Melissa Minor Brown. She's the chair of the Doula Working Group and chair of the Social Determinants of Health Working Group, and Tiffany Chalk, chair of the Black Maternal Health Work Group. Very excited to speak with both of those ladies. They have been super active in the community talking about Black maternal health. So getting them back on the show is always great.
Yeah, and you know what? I totally forgot to add that part. This weekend I had a chance to moderate on Saturday afternoon, moderate the inequities in Black healthcare, right? And Black health. And State Rep Minor Brown was there, and you know, I can't wait so she can fill you in about how that event went. So that was great. I'm ready. You ready?
Let's do this. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our guests.
All right.
Up next, Tina Betz, Gerald Chavis, and Dave Schiff.
Welcome back. Look, I'm so happy. These guys are freaking amazing.
Yes.
I swear to you. I got to come up with a new motto, a new saying versus capeless heroes. I'm gonna just say.
I like capeless heroes.
But I think that's more for the community.
Yes.
You know. But these guys right here. I'm here. Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Jonathan Whitney, Gerald Chavis, a music director, and Dave Schiff, tenor saxophonist. Today we are talking about a lot of stuff. All right, and what you don't want to miss is the International Jazz Day Award concert. So, welcome. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
All right. All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for coming, Mr. Chavis, man. We've been back and forth a lot lately, and when they told me you was on the show, I was like, good, like, good, because we're gonna get it all out today. Okay.
For sure.
Awesome. So tell us about this, Jonathan.
Yeah, so the International Jazz Day Awards, this is our second annual awards, and we've been giving these awards to community members that are nominated by the community. So this year, the awardees are Ray Jones Avery for volunteerism.
Nice.
You know, Makai Boone for Young and Swinging. This is a young drummer a lot of us don't know about. He's grew up in North Wilmington. He's playing in New York. He was in Philly last night. You know, and then we have Schiff, who hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about, who really helped a whole generation of jazz musicians grow out of Wilmington as our legacy awardee.
Right.
And then the venue is the venue that like stuck it through the pandemic, was able to stay open, Hummingbird to Mars. You know, over there in
this venue. I haven't been there yet. It's amazing.
And they were employing musicians the whole time. So, you know, we just wanted to acknowledge them as the top jazz awardee this year.
Nice.
All nominated by community members. You know,
that's what it's all about. Yeah. And the music scene in Delaware is, I don't want to just say the music scene, but the jazz music scene. The jazz scene is awesome. Yeah. And then we got this guy here. I mean, everyone knows Gerald.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, the infamous Gerald.
The infamous. Well, for our viewers that may not know, how about this? Let's let our viewers know a little bit about who is Mr. Gerald Chavis.
Okay, let's see. Well, I was born and raised in Wilmington, graduated from Wilmington High School, played trumpet starting in 4th grade. I'm still trying to get it right. And
always perfecting your craft.
Yes, that's it. It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
It's a process. Just really, glad to be a part of the scene and able in a position to make some things happen and to benefit from things that are happening and enjoy life. So I'm one happy camper.
Nice.
He's also our MD, our music director for the Clifford Brown Jazz Orchestra, which is
unbelievable.
Let's talk about this, right?
It's more like being a traffic cop.
Okay. I can sense you're very humble. Very humble, because you're in our presence, and clearly you have been very influential in the jazz community, but also in the music community. But it's okay. We'll boast about you. We'll brag.
Right. Give him his flowers.
Exactly.
Well, just to shift gears a little bit, Dave Schiff, why don't you let our viewers know who is Dave Schiff?
Well, I grew up in Wilmington, born in Pennsylvania, what Jonathan mentioned, my father, Schiff, he's passed on, but he was a big influence in my life and a lot of Gerald's. A lot of students and upcoming musicians. And one of the big things that he did in Wilmington was start a jazz workshop at the Wilmington Music School, which I'm not sure what it's called now, but and he'd bring in all the great players in New York that were just
Herbie
amazing.
Hancock, Donald Byrd, Pepper Adams. The list was endless.
Yeah, it was Phil Wilson and just
gosh.
And he'd come in and it was like a week, 10 days, and so I grew up with that, and most kids have, when they're growing up, have toy trucks or something. My father stuck a clarinet saxophone in my mouth, and I've been playing since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
And so I've toured with Natalie Cole, Frank Sinatra Jr., Temptations, and Diane Shure. Spent 20 years in the Navy band in Washington, D.C., and the jazz band Commodores. and retired and moved back to Wilmington, and Gerald and I hooked up again after all these years, and we're doing it. We're making jazz popular and just spreading the word all in
Yes,
Wilmington.
and
to bring
keeping it
back.
alive.
Yeah,
Keeping
you
it
have
alive.
to.
Sometimes we forget how I would say it's more rewarding to listen to jazz, and I think it's therapeutic. I really do. I think it's therapeutic. If you're having a stressful day, I was always told, put on some jazz music, and it just relaxes your mind and your soul. So I believe keeping it alive is very important, and staying active in the community is important.
All while having as much fun as humanly possible.
There you go.
That's right.
There you
Can't
go.
have more fun.
There you go. There you go. Now, is this event, is it virtual or in person?
So it's in person at the Music School of Delaware.
Okay.
Tickets are available, we'll say it a couple times, cityfestwilm.com, cityfestwilm.com. And we have in-person tickets and a live stream ticket if you can't make it out. But
nice.
we suggest you be there because it's going to be a special night.
And proceeds going to?
Proceeds go towards the jazz festival. So they go to City Fest Inc. and they go to help support. You know, we have the largest free jazz festival on the East Coast.
That's your camera. Say it again.
The largest free jazz festival on the East Coast is in
deal.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
Every year the lineup's fire.
Yes.
And that takes money. So
Yeah, right. When is the jazz festival? If you can hint, can you hint?
Yo,
Can you tell me what's
I got
going on?
permission. I called the Queen. I called Tina Betz before this. I say, may I please? So this year the festival will be in Rodney Square, June 15th to June 18th. But before that, we're bringing back the Duke Ellington Sacred Music Concerts with our MD, Gerald Chavis.
There you go.
That'll be on the Sunday, June 12th.
Okay.
On June 13th, we'll be at Theater N, showing a movie about Clifford Brown, Brownie Speaks.
Yes.
On
Brownie
Tuesday, June 14th, we'll be at the library with, they have their whole jazz gallery going on right now. We'll have a band playing there. And then the 15th, we hit the main, on the main stage down at Rodney Square. It's going to be fire.
You guys are doing, it's a heck of a push that you guys are doing with jazz, man. I remember after the jazz concert last year, you guys went over to the Hotel DuPont and had a jam session.
And it's still going.
And it was unreal. I'm sitting in there like, yo! Like guys were getting up and just coming over to playing the drums or doing whatever. Like you guys really rocked out.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the names that you mentioned that his father, Herbie Hancock and everyone came to Delaware. Are there any special performances that you can hint around to that people might just pop in, just ride through Delaware and pop in?
I'm just going to say, all I can say is we're talking to some of the names that were just mentioned into the ether. I can't go any farther. I don't have, I'm not the one signing the contract. So
Can't disclose any more
Can't
information.
disclose any, but I can tell you what, last year's lineup was fire, right? We had 7,000 people out there.
Come on, man.
It's going to be fire again. Like, looking at the names that are on the list that we're in the final negotiations with.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I truly believe you will exceed that number of
think
attendees
so.
this year, especially with more things are opened up. People feel more comfortable gathering. It's outside, which is, always a plus.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have good weather. Hopefully we have good weather, and I would love to attend. I think we should.
Oh, you got to.
I've
You
never
have
been.
to.
I've never been.
You
So I
have
would
to.
love
You get Vincenzo on stage.
You can be a guest of the orchestra.
Well,
how fun.
last year I was the MC along with Tina Betz, and the DETV crew came out, and we had an interactive time with the audience.
Excellent.
And look, John and I were backstage like, yo, this is amazing. Like the people, the music that were, oh my gosh, the artists that showed up, the people that showed up, and I can't wait to this year because if it's anything like last year, oh my gosh, it's just what the Wilmington needs. And speaking of what Wilmington needs, what do you need from the people of Wilmington to do? Because you guys are making a hell of a movement with jazz and great music. You know what I mean?
Come out and support. Come out. Realize that this doesn't happen out of nowhere. Come out to the award ceremony. Come out and see this great big band. Come out to the jazz festival. Go to Nomad. Support all the infrastructure we have. Jazz has been in Wilmington since its creation.
Right.
It's been here,
Right.
Every musician, you watch Dizzy Gillespie, John Coltrane, everybody passed through here.
Everybody.
So you got to go out and see it, realize.
And let's stay there for a minute because a lot of people, they don't know where to go to listen to good music, right? Can you tell them where to go to? I know you have something going on at the
House of Laughs. Yeah, Wind Down Wednesdays. It's a Wednesday night jam session, weekly, different house band every week. And it's a lot of musicians coming through. It's open. We have singers, professional and not so. But it's a very nurturing environment. House of Laughs is at 1206 North Union Street in Wilmington. Okay. Every Wednesday night, 8 to 11.
All right.
That's a great.
And other places that people could just go, or even other events
You have a
that
regular gig, right?
Yeah, we have. I have a Sunday jazz brunch at the Red Fire Grill in Hocassin, Lantana Square Shopping Center, and it's great food and the music's fun. It's just keyboards and myself.
Nice.
And they love jazz, and we have a good following. You have people come out all the time.
And what's the name of the location?
It's the Red Fire Grill in Hocassin at the
Hocassin.
Lantana Shopping Center.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so that's a lot of
That's
fun.
Valley Road and Limestone Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Pizza by, I've been playing the jazz brunch at Pizza by Elizabeth for 15 years up there every first Sunday.
Okay.
So we've been up there. We shifted it to Mother's Day. So if you're looking for something to do on Mother's Day, Pizza by Elizabeth. It's always great food. And me, Rob Swanson, and Tom Palmer on keys. We've been doing it for a long time.
Monster.
So
Killer, right. Can't go wrong.
Right.
And the thing with the House of Laughs is nice because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not really that good enough. I'm not a pro. And you don't have to be.
Right.
It's a great place to, like they say, cut your teeth.
That's exactly.
that's how we learned.
That's how we learned.
Get to play next to these guys.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Right.
That's right. Sitting right next to somebody. How did you do that?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they tell you.
And they tell you.
Yeah.
And
They didn't hold it back.
Oh, no. That's how the baton is passed.
Right. So okay. Who was your motivation or your inspiration that you went home after and that's your thing? Who was it for you guys?
Mine was, again, with the jazz workshops back in the day, is Pepper Adams, which was one of the best bari sax players in the world. And what was cool was he stayed at my house.
Okay.
So we became really good friends, and we'd sit down and just play. But
Right.
Sonny Stitch, Sonny Rollins, John Menza is a good friend of mine. I just listened to these guys and just like, I thought I had it together. I gotta go back there.
I've got a funny story. I was Dave's a few years older than me, maybe 6 months or something.
Yeah,
But-
something like that.
yeah, anyway, I was working on.
Moments.
We were hanging out at the Wilmington Music School. Then it's the Music School of Delaware now, and I was working on this Charlie Parker song named Donna Lee. I was playing through it, and all of a sudden I heard this saxophonist from down the hall just killing it.
Right.
And so I come out and look, and it was Dave. So I told him, man, the next time you see me, I'm gonna be able to play that with you.
Wow.
So it's that kind of thing where your inspiration doesn't have to be somebody international. It could be the person sitting next to you.
Next to you. Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
How about you?
You know what's funny is, if we go back to high school, so Glasgow, right? Dave used to come in once a week and to pick up the instruments. And he would hear us practicing down there. He'd be like, I hear what you're doing. There's little things like that. That's inspiration at that stage. You know, 'cause you're experimenting in high school. We didn't know what jazz was.
Right.
We were just we had like
Make a
John
sound.
Paul, like people were playing piano and like I heard this song on the radio and we're gonna try and figure it out.
Right.
But he would come in and say, I hear you. And then you get to see him in concert and you go, somebody who can play,
Yeah.
Right.
who has it down, told me I'm coming up.
Right.
You know, and that's the inspiration. At that point in my life, that was major. You
Yes,
know?
Wow.
Like,
yes.
and I've known Dave my whole life now.
Love it.
And he doesn't know, but
Right.
he was like a person, we couldn't wait for him to come through the door. He wasn't fixing drums.
Right.
But we knew the guy that fixed all the horns because he was listening.
You can tell that they feed off of each other's energy.
Easy.
I can tell right now. Before the show started, I was talking to you individually, but now we're on camera. They turn it on.
Yeah.
Now lights on, shows on, and you guys feed off of each other. But that's how you are when you perform,
Yeah,
especially when you come together. You feed off of each other's energy, and that's why that makes you all so great.
You have to come back, all three of you, and you have to play something for the show. You have to.
Done.
You have to.
Easy.
You have to.
Yeah, just let us know when.
Next week.
Have your people contact our people and
Yeah, my
we'll do
people
it.
call your people. All right. What advice would you give? You know, one thing that I believe in is on a come up, right? We all had people that inspired us. None are people that are inspired by you all, right? What advice would you give them, or someone that's maybe just picking up a saxophone for the first time, or picking up a trumpet? Like I picked up a trumpet when I was in 3rd grade, left it alone, right? Went to the saxophone, left it alone. But I wish someone would have, you know, encouraged me to stay with it, you know? So what advice would you give someone that's watching at home right now and that says, oh my gosh, I'm on the verge of quitting? And what advice would you give someone that says, I'm on the verge of being better, I want to be better?
Right. From my teaching experience is just, you know, don't quit. Listen to, pick somebody that you really like to listen to, that you feel like you're communicating with, you know, and it doesn't have to be somebody playing a zillion notes at a time, you know. It could be, you know, Stan Getz was great, you know, he had a great sound, he wasn't a whole lot technical, you know, and just try to emulate that person, you know. Go to concerts, go to places and listen and just try to copy them, you know, at first. Yes. You know, like with Pepper Adams, what I was talking about before, was just, you know, I had made the big mistake. He said, well, you know, who do you listen to? And of course I said him. And he says, well, who do you want to sound like? I said, well, I want to sound like you. He goes, no, you don't sound like me. I sound like me. You've got to sound yourself.
Right.
That's good advice.
Yeah. For me, I'm reminded of some Boise, my mentor, Robert Boise, one of my mentors, Robert Boise Lowry, had what he called the laws of learning. And a couple of them, you know, just tie in. First thing is to envision what it is you want to be. Right. You know, and secondly, seek knowledge. That means learn from somebody that knows something more than you. And mainly, probably the biggest one is to have patience, which he described as being undisturbed by obstacles.
Love it. Love it.
Listen, I mean, if you're on the verge of quitting, I would say you're not playing the music that you love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the one liner right there. That's the sound bite. Sums it all up.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, we do this to have fun. Like we love playing jazz because we love this. This is what we do. Yeah. If you're playing the music, if you're playing the instrument and you're not loving it, go to your iPad, go to your phone, hit play. Oh, that's what I listen to, and play that. Because that's what these guys. That's what John Coltrane was doing. That's what everybody else. That's what every great is playing what they love. You're not playing what you're told.
Right.
So go there first, and then if you're on the verge and you want more to devour, it's always down to listening. Listen. Put the record on.
Close your mouth.
Hit play on your iTunes playlist. And play along. Listen. Figure it out. Don't ask somebody else. Use your ear and figure it out.
I love it.
You know, and then take your, listen to your elders.
I love it. Oh my gosh. That was deep right there.
Yeah.
That was
I enjoyed them being on the show. We definitely have to get you back on the show again.
Yeah.
Folks.
Okay.
Really.
Twist my arm. Twist it here.
Can we have them on the plaza playing tomorrow? What do you think about? Okay, because we just got a message from Adam Blackstone. He is stuck in California. Flight was canceled coming back from Coachella, but he'll be here tomorrow. What do you think of like a little something out on the plaza tomorrow for tomorrow's episode?
Let us see what we can do.
All right, just make some phone calls, see what you can, just on the plaza, and then when Adam come in, we can just go right to his interview like that.
Yeah, let me check with my people and see if your people.
My people.
That's perfect.
One more time, Jonathan, let's give the dates again of the event and how people can be a part and how they can get tickets. You can knock it out on your camera right there.
Second annual International Jazz Day Awards, Friday, April 29th, 7 p.m. at the Delaware Music School of Delaware. You can get tickets at cityfestwilm.com. That's CITFESTWILM. .com.
Different Trump over
.com. And you know, all the proceeds go towards the festival, go towards the musicians you will see on stage. You will see a big band on stage. You don't see big bands tour anymore. You know why? Because it's expensive. Yes. But we invest in our local and regional musicians, and they are killing because we are on the East Coast. Come out and hear them.
Love it, love it. Again, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and space.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, man. You have your people can call my people anytime, okay? All right, because one thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the good music scene is any way we can help promote it, we will definitely promote it.
And keep it alive.
Keep it alive.
Keep it
alive and well. Yeah, keep it alive
Thank
and
you.
well. All right, so after that, we'll be right back. And if you just tuned in, we are here at Good Morning Wilmington. We just got a message from Adam Blackstone. It wasn't his people, it was actually him. He's stuck in California, coming back from Coachella. He will be here tomorrow for tomorrow's interview on Good Morning Wilmington, live right here on the plaza. So we'll be right back. Who are we coming back with?
Yes,
Vincenzo?
we're coming back with State Representative Melissa Minor-Brown and Tiffany Chalk, the chair of Black Maternal Health Work Group. So we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Coming up next, Melissa Minor-Brown and Tiffany Chalk.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
The day I got arrested was a blessing because it was the end of one chapter of my life and it was the beginning of another. I deserve a clean slate.
Now that clean slate legislation has passed in Delaware, we must ensure that the bills are effectively implemented so qualified people will get the second chance they deserve. To learn more, visit cleanslatede.org.
Welcome back, welcome back. I swear I love watching everyone scramble when it's 5 seconds left.
Especially us ladies.
Yeah, look, it's funny. Look, Tiffany, I'm telling you, I don't think she walked. She just slid across the room. Well, welcome back. We have State Representative Melissa Mimi Minor-Brown, chair of, what is it? Chair of DEULA. What is DEULA?
So, chair of the DEULA working group.
Yeah, the DEULA working group.
Yes.
And let me finish my thing. And Tiffany, wonderful superwoman. What is DEULA?
So a doula is a trained professional that works with a woman who is pregnant during the birthing process and postpartum. And this doula serves as this woman's advocate and also ensures that her birth plan is carried out while she is in the birthing suite delivering her baby.
Nice, nice. And let me say this.
Coming up next, Melissa Minor-Brown.
Ladies, for what you're doing. I knew nothing about Black Maternal Health, right? I don't give babies. Have them, deliver them. I don't, So when we had the event last week, I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, I guess every woman of color goes through this, And matter of fact, before I can say goes through this, Tiffany, what is Black Maternal Health? What is that?
So Black Maternal Health is basically the maternal health journey of a Black woman, in short.
Okay,
Right.
and what are some of, and I know you're fighting some of the inequalities of it?
Very much
Inequities
so.
of it, excuse me.
Very much so. We all know that there's a lot of racial disparities in healthcare, period, right? But there's, in the past year, excuse me, I'm stumbling over my words, but in the past years, it's really been highlighted and brought, I would say, to mainstream the problems. We've been doing this work for a long time. I myself have been doing this work for almost 15 years in this space. But I would say in the past years, it's really brought a lot of awareness, mainstream, to some of these disparities in healthcare, specifically Black maternal health. COVID and going through the pandemic really put a spotlight on some of the disparities that we knew were already in place. Did you want to add to that, Mimi?
All I can say is Black maternal mortality is an epidemic right now. Black women are dying, and we are trying to bring awareness.
3 times.
Black
more
women are
likely to
dying.
die.
Let's say 3.5 times. Black women are
likely to
3.5 times more likely to die than their white counterparts. And it does not discriminate when it comes to socioeconomic status. So we need to work on not only just improving the Black woman's experience when they are pregnant and delivering a baby and postpartum. I feel like every Black woman that I come in contact with these days has had an experience that was unfavorable. And then, Delaware is actually amongst the highest in the nation when it comes to infant mortality.
Is it?
We rank 28th in the nation in regards to infant mortality.
This little state.
Yes, and Black babies are 3 times more likely to die than their white counterparts in Delaware.
This little state,
We have a lot of work to do.
Yes, clearly and clearly you have taken action. And before the show started, I went over to both of them and I thanked them. I thanked both of you, and I want to share that with our viewers, that I thanked you for starting the conversation and being so vocal about it, because it needs to be heard. It needs to be heard, and the education, the resources, just having that conversation and being comfortable talking about it. I think that's something that, even just as a female, we don't want to talk about our health with everyone. We're very private. But I think it's important to express that it's okay to have the conversation, share the knowledge, and the fact that both of you are just putting this at the forefront. And last week, having the panel discussion, which was a success. And I know that you have an event coming up. Yeah. So let's share with our viewers the event coming up so people could be a part of the discussion.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the summit?
Okay, so tomorrow, actually, we're hosting our Delaware Healthy Mother Infant Consortium, our annual Maternal Health Summit. It is a virtual summit. You can still register. I don't know if I need to be looking at you guys. Or
you can tell them where to register.
I don't know, where I did. So you can still register at www.dethrives.com. This is the 16th or 17th annual. Don't quote me. I spoke at the first summit in 2006. I shared my story, and that's how I became a governor-appointed member of the DHMIC. So the theme for this year's summit is listening, connecting, and inspiring change. So generally, it used to be in person. We would have over 400 healthcare professionals and community, partners in the building, but we are virtual again this year, and we would love for you guys to join us. We will actually have a panel on Black maternal health. Representative Mimi will also share about the resolution that she put forth through the state of Delaware to acknowledge Black Maternal Health Awareness Week. So it'll be a great time. It's from 8:30 to 3 p.m. on tomorrow, and again, you can register at dethrives.com.
Now let me ask you this. I am so just taken back, right? Because this is new to me. I'm a man. I know nothing about motherhood, right? But to hear you ladies last week, it's like ladies, your guests were spilling their hearts out, and even coming from not just a patient, but from a doctor's point of view of
Dr.
the racism that goes on.
A doctor that's afraid to get pregnant and have a baby.
Say it again.
A Black doctor that's afraid to get pregnant and have a baby because of the high risk of Black women dying during labor and delivery.
And let's so much to unpack here.
That's it right there. It's so much to unpack.
Like what you just said. She's afraid to have a baby, right? Why? Because of the health system.
She doesn't want to die.
Please give me an example. Give viewers the example. Some examples of what goes on. Like a woman's pregnant, she goes to a hospital. Of things that she might occur that might occur there. That like you have your baby, so you go home, or don't. You know what I mean?
Or sitting in triage for 5 hours, right?
I actually just had a conversation with a woman 2 days ago who actually sat in triage for 5 hours, and she was in pain. And this is right here in Delaware. I'm not going to go into the story into detail, but she was no longer pregnant when she left the hospital the next day without a doctor's note for work. So she's struggling right now. And that's one of so many stories. And I mean, we can look at the bias that exists. We know that a Black woman with an advanced college degree is more likely to die than her white counterpart without a high school diploma. So we know that the socioeconomic status has nothing to do with the Black maternal mortality rate.
Right.
So, I mean, I have my own experiences, even postpartum. I mean, I was an 18-year-old pregnant woman, young woman with Medicaid. and I had an adverse experience with preeclampsia, and then I had to have an emergency C-section, all because no one listened to me and my concerns. But then as a registered nurse in my 30s, delivering a child, and I'm a nurse now, right? And I look at my baby and I say to the nurse, my son is jaundiced, and she says, no, that's just how black babies look. Well, a few days later, we end up at Nemours because he is jaundiced, because I knew what I was talking about.
Right,
It was just black women being compared to their Caucasian or their white doctor's pregnant wife. And for that doctor to say, oh, my wife had the same issues and she was fine, and then 3 days later, the black woman's baby is dead, and now she's delivering a stillborn baby. So these are the issues that we're dealing with, and it starts with the bias that exists.
Yeah.
And some like to believe that it's an unconscious bias, right? And I think, healthcare professionals, they really need to think about that, right? And think about how to be a little bit more culturally sensitive before they open their mouth.
And culturally aware.
And
if we could, it's interesting because we definitely want to see more diversity in our healthcare system.
Right.
We want to see more culturally aware providers. We want to see more black doctors. We want to see more black nurses. But we also want to make sure that the non-black providers are aware and able to treat black women the same way they treat white women. We want to make sure that everyone's being treated holistically. That the color of your skin doesn't make a difference on the type of healthcare that you're going to receive.
Right.
Because we're seeing this is data, right? It's not like we're just making this up. The data proves that this exists.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, this is data, right? Because it's easy for someone that to walk in and listen and be like, oh, that doesn't happen, or but you're telling me that we're 28 in the nation of black babies dying.
Yes.
Right.
Data doesn't lie.
Okay. All right. The infant, the program that you have tomorrow.
Okay.
What can people expect to hear, to take away from tomorrow's event? Because it sounds like people need to be there, regardless.
Or listen.
Or listen. And the great thing of
listen and close their mouth and listen. I think that's what's most important, and that they need you to keep continuing to put that conversation at the forefront. Because I didn't know that statistic, and that's disheartening. That's really disheartening. Delaware's small.
If you would have seen the audience that came, the live audience, there were the white women and black women in there. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like all black event. It was white women saying, yeah, that's wrong. They know that it was white doctors, if I wasn't mistaken, that was there. It was like, that's wrong. I lived it. I know. Yeah. So the takeaway for tomorrow, right? Yes. What can young moms, that live on the north side, live on the west side, that are the surrounding areas, what can they expect to hear, or why should they attend?
Well, we're going to talk about advocacy. We're going to talk about just black maternal health in general, but we're going to talk about for the black woman. And see, I mention this all the time. It's not when we educate the black woman, we're not really educating her on how to stay alive. Because we need to educate our clinicians on how to keep us alive. But we do need to educate the black woman on how to advocate herself in the provider's office. And if you don't feel right walking out of there, then you need to go find another provider.
Yes.
You need to
know that you can go find another provider. Because I feel, we've heard this story before, that a lot of women feel like they don't know where to go, or they have to stick with this doctor. And also for tomorrow, for the Black Maternal Health panel, we'll talk about STAND. So STAND is the acronym that we are driving the work for the Black Maternal Health Work Group. And the S stands for speaking out, like being very vocal, exactly what we're doing. Yes. The T stands for training healthcare professionals, right? To deal with that bias and not being culturally sensitive and things of that nature. The A is advocate for yourself, and we're here to advocate for other black women. And the N is your
not
job.
Afraid.
Right.
Not afraid.
Right? And the D is a different frame of mind, right? To really make the impact and the change that we want to make, like everyone has to have a different frame of mind. Yes. 7 out of 10 women in Delaware, right, have deaths from maternal mortality that could be preventable.
That's the thing. It's
7 out of 10.
Wow.
Preventable complications.
Preventable.
Preventable
That's key.
complications. We're talking hypertension, preeclampsia, eclampsia. hypertensive crisis, preventable complications.
Are you serious?
That's the thing, like they're
Obstetrical
dying,
hemorrhage.
but it could be preventable. That's the key problem right there. So how do we prevent this? If we know 7 out of 10 of these deaths are preventable, what can we do to make it less, to drive those numbers down, because we know it is preventable?
Wow.
We have to start with listening, though, like you said before.
Listening. And I think as a female who I personally go through multiple medical issues. I have autoimmune. I suffer with lupus, but my whole life I've always gone through medical issues. And the one thing that I always was taught: you need to stand up for yourself.
Yes.
You need to speak for yourself. You need to make sure you're taking notes.
Yes.
You need to make sure that you ask the questions. I was always told that you're given 15, maybe less minutes with that doctor and you're just another number. So you have to be very vocal. And it's important that we need to educate. I mean, anyone, even you, Ivan, if you're going to the doctor, you have to educate yourself that you are your own doctor. You need to speak up and advocate for yourself and your family. And I was always taught that. And I think that what you're doing, just like the stand, I love that. I love what it stands for.
Thank you.
And that it's okay to get a second opinion.
It is.
That I think that, having that conversation with women, that it's okay to get a second opinion. It's okay to speak up, ask questions. And I think that's so amazing what you're doing, ladies.
Thank you. Well,
I really do.
That's why, sorry to cut you off, but
No,
that's
no,
why
no,
we're
please.
highlighting the importance of doulas.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
the
yes,
studies have also shown that when a woman has a doula enrolled in her care, the number of Black maternal mortalities has significantly decreased.
Wow.
So doulas bring better outcomes because that is your advocate. She's telling you, you know what? This isn't a good situation. Let's look at this. When you go to your appointment, ask these questions.
Yes, see, that's perfect. You're coaching.
Yes.
You're coaching them through it because it is intimidating. It really is, and I'm sure you both know it's intimidating. When you go to the doctor in general, it's intimidating. But I'm sure as a Black mother or Black future mother, that she wants to feel confident and feel that she's getting the proper care.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that we're having this discussion and we're continuing this conversation, and I think another panel discussion on DETV needs to happen. I really do, because it's intimidating, it's scary.
It is.
And the language that is used, I don't even understand some of the medical terms that are used, and I'm always learning. So I think that what you ladies are doing is incredible. Now, you do offer other virtual workshops, correct? Not just the one that will be tomorrow. There will be others to look forward to?
Yes, there definitely will be others to look forward to, because this conversation doesn't stop in the month of April or Black Maternal Health Awareness Week.
I don't think we're going to stop until the disparity no longer exists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll always be a conversation, but there's always opportunities for others to join in the conversation. DHMIC, our subcommittee meetings that myself and Mimi lead, they're open to the public. You can go to DE Thrives and learn about the different committees and where you see your passion may lie. It could be social determinants of health. It could be doulas, it could be Black maternal health, which is all for SOCA, right? Because our main goal underneath of the DHMIC is a more holistic approach, where we want the woman to be whole before, during, and after pregnancy.
And after.
Yes.
I think sometimes after is the most important.
It is.
Because of the depression that kicks
exactly.
in. And the mental health that needs to be treated. And so you're getting everything.
So even with you saying that, I don't want to misquote the statistic or the data, but I believe it's somewhere between 40 to 50% of these maternal mortalities that are happening. Some of the causes lead to where the women suffered from some maternal mental health issues, which depression, which could have come from, feeling like they weren't treated fairly during their pregnancy, or the depression that may come. And I could even speak to that after a loss or multiple losses, right? Where you feel like you weren't heard, you weren't cared for. And then you have to deal with, well, what if I had better care? Maybe my child may be here.
What did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong?
You highlighted something. I think as women, we tend to take on that burden.
Right.
When really it wasn't us, right? It's not us. And I think that it's naturally, as when we take on that burden, it's my fault. It's my fault this did not work. But it wasn't. It was lack of care.
It is.
It was lack of quality care.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's where House Bill 234 actually comes into play for women who are currently utilizing Medicaid. Right now, if you have Medicaid, your Medicaid actually cuts off at 60 days postpartum.
Okay.
So House Bill 234 will expand that to 1 year because we've seen how postpartum can present itself, postpartum depression, well after 60 days, right? So I'm excited to get that bill done. In addition to the 2022 Delaware Momnibus, which is a series of bills related to improving maternal mortality rates in Delaware and infant mortality rates. So
Mimi, you're
stay
unstoppable.
tuned for that.
Mimi's unstoppable.
Listen, we're going to keep going until the disparity no longer exists. We're going to be talking about this.
Yes. Like that's it. Like you have to breathe in and breathe out.
You're going to be teaching this. You're going to be talking about it.
Let me tell you something. As a man, I salute all y'all women. Because just alone, if you think of something like that, right? And like a woman going through and a doctor, nurse, or someone just pushes her along and she loses her child. The aftermath of that, the mental, the emotional and mental part of that, and how strong that you have to be, you know, to, like you said, you ladies echoed, was it me? That is bothering me. It is like literally like bothering me that y'all have to go through that.
I walked.
I know.
I walked that out.
I know.
Shame.
I know.
And we're not even asking ourselves, was it us? We know it was us, right? We're saying, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know, we're looking at every reason why we caused the situation.
Did I do something wrong? Did I do right? And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I'm thinking like, one thing that happens in our lives, right, is that we go through things, but we also come out. Some of us come out stronger. It's the responsibility of the stronger to go back and help the weaker.
Right.
Yes.
That's why I do what I do.
And that's why I'm saying like
Tiffany's
we
purpose.
need more conversation. Because I was talking to Leslie and like didn't know this was a thing. Didn't know this was going on.
Right.
But it is. So if we say Delaware 28. What is California? What is Compton? What is New York? What's Brooklyn? What's the Bronx?
Right.
How long is this? Like it's been going on forever.
Right.
You know. So okay. I get on my soapbox. Let me get off. Look.
We need men to be a voice as well.
Yes.
So
thank you, Tiffany.
stay on your soapbox.
Yeah, man. Maybe that's what it is too. Like maybe men need to be a part of this conversation.
Yes,
I agree.
Right, a whole lot. And again, I see white women a part of the conversation because they see what's going on. And you know, Martin Luther King had people that didn't look like him march with him. That's how he got stuff done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now that where we are right now is just telling this is really freaking bothering me. It's just like we can't finish. We can't wrap it up in a 15-minute interview.
No.
We can't talk more about
We
it.
could keep
So we
talking.
we need to continue this.
But we need to keep
and
talking.
we promise we will. Okay. So damn it, ladies. Look, thank you so much for what you do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This is the Need Camera. Tell the community, the legislators, the policymakers, tell them what you need, because you tell them what I found out is you tell them what you need, and then they said, well, you never told us. Because they're watching. I know they're watching.
You know what? So to the individuals who can make that change, who have the ability to create policy and advocate funding, we need you to be intentional about addressing Black maternal mortality and infant mortality in our state. For the community, we need you to speak up and speak out about the disparities that exist, about the inequities that exist. Tell your story, because I know most of you have a story. Right. Your wives have stories. You have stories. Your grandmothers, your mothers have stories. We need to talk about it. We need to keep the conversation going.
Is there a hotline? I'm going to get to you real quick. Is there a hotline that they get like pound 711 or something that they can reach out and talk? Because some of them.
That's a good idea.
I didn't think it. Yes. There will be. There should be.
Okay.
To add to what Mimi said, because she said it so eloquently, her story. Like what we didn't talk about her story, but one of the main things with her story is we want to elevate women's voices. So we want to hear your stories. So we need that hotline, and we need some type of portal where you can reach out to us to share your stories, because speaking up and speaking loudly is what they need to hear. Right. It's not just us. And it's not just this small demographic of women that is being affected. It's women all across the state. Like she said, from
it's an epidemic.
Yes.
It's a public health crisis.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It is.
That's what it is.
So
all right,
thank you guys.
Thank you. So they'll be working on
yes, he just
hotline.
gave us something to do.
There we go.
He just added to our work. Thank you, Alan.
That's what we do. You know what I mean? Again, ladies, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Vincenza?
Yes.
Oh, did you give a website address?
DEThrives.com, www.DEThrives.com.
You can find them on Facebook too.
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, make sure you stay connected, Black mothers and mothers of all. Make sure you stay connected, Black men. Make sure you stand up for these Black mothers and Black mothers to be. Vincenza?
Ivan?
It's time to get out of here.
Yes, another great show.
Another great
And I love that we always have influential leaders on our show, but also I'm always learning something, and I love it.
See what happens when you hang around with a brother.
Yes. I can't. Folks, please tune into all of the great information that was provided to you today, especially regarding Black maternal health. Please educate yourself, but more importantly, listen. That's, I think, what's the most important thing, is that we have to listen, because as Mimi said, it is a problem, an epidemic, as she said, because we need to open our ears even more, and I'm open to the conversation and continuing the conversation, and that's what we're here doing at Good Morning Wilmington on DETV, to provide that platform so we can continue this conversation and hopefully make change. So, but with that said, another great show. Thank you so much to everyone that comes on, especially Jonathan Whitney.
Yes.
Yes, Jonathan Whitney. We had Gerald, Chavis, and Dave Schiff. Excellent. Those guys are great. I love their energy.
Yeah, and
love
tomorrow,
their energy.
make sure you tune in tomorrow. Again, Adam Blackstone reached out. He is stuck in California, coming back from Coachella. He said he will be here tomorrow on Good Morning Wilmington, special episode, so we can't wait to have him here. And our sponsors, CEB, thank you. Dart Transit, we thank you. Out and About Magazine, Y-Fly. We get a lot of sponsors that really like what we're doing. All right, thank you so much for believing in us. And as you believe in us, we'll just keep sharing the great news that Wilmington, that Delaware has to offer, while crossing racial, ethnic lines and bringing people together.
Yes.
That cool?
I love it.
That's what he do.
Yes.
We'll see you on Good Morning Wilmington. Make sure you check out the news tomorrow on DETV and our other shows. Go to DETVCH.com and remember, love someone that you don't know, feed someone that might be in need, and just give, because that's what we're here to do. Ready?
Ready.
We're out of here.